But that being said, Arsenin, talking a little bit about the process, as I just mentioned, I think, as you know, because as you just mentioned, the implementation process and the methodology is crucial. But what more can you share with our listeners as to how you feel your implementation process is a differentiator from the other ERP players? So with Infor specifically, any thoughts for our listeners in terms of the way you actually approach an implementation? Can you provide a little more insight there?
Yeah, well, the one thing I say, most vendors have an implementation methodology they follow because, they've done it typically for a long time and they have something structured in place, which is good. A complex thing like an implementation without methodology is almost like chaos.
Yeah.
So that is very crucial. What we try to do, though, is a couple of things. We have implementation accelerators that has the best practice in mind. So actually turn it around. Instead of saying, this is what I need, you can also say, hey, can I live with this process in my organization to do my job? And if you can do that, then you're adopting not only a best practice, but now the adoption is much higher because you don't have to tweak, create a new report, create the capabilities outside the system or inside the system with an extension layer that we have where you can manage, customer unique needs. The second thing, what is really key is that, and this is where I think our ERP is a little different, is that we design in a fashion that things are changeable over time. And you say, well, why is that important? Well, I've done implementation. You always have that progressive insight. You have that change during the implementation. And to be able to turn on and off capabilities over time and after implementation is a very successful thing to do. Because you do not have to know everything up front in order to create a configuration that is best suited for the business, for your organization as a customer. So in that sense, not all our ERPs are the same. We also know about ERPs. Once you set something, it configures the database and everything else. And if you want to change it over time, then you almost have to re-implement. That is devastating to the ability to change over time. With also our time to value initiatives, we really want to reduce that time to deploy. If from creating the tenant all the way to the implementation and after implementation, the faster that is done, the more you are able not only to get a return on investment, which is financially, but also the adoption to the organization, as well as the adoption of change over time. Yeah. And if you can do those things, it becomes almost like, hey, and we have customers right now that said, we're doing things monthly in the cloud now. We adopt to new things. And in previous years, we've done that on a premise solution. And it took us, we did something every 3 years. This is just amazing for them. So that's something that you see with customers that they really appreciate, is having that continuous ability to change without having to re-implement the solution set.